Hello, everybody. I guess this will be my last recorded 2023 technical video. So we go into 2024. If you're watching this already, Happy New Year, all that. Yeah, as I said in a prior video, lengthy one, um, I put out a video on just generally where I think the economy is going to go. That's global, where I'm going as well. And I want to talk more technical detail on the transition from where I'm at to where I'm going. So essentially what's been going on is I've been on WordPress for since day one. That's going back 10 plus years. WordPress has been good to me up until about 2016, 17, and it's just been downhill since. I'm just going to leave it at this. WordPress is full of bloat. All the plugins bloat, and it just really negatively affects your search engine optimization with the likes of Google search engines and all that. So it's been on a steady, not a good thing. So what's been going on is I watched a few videos to show this as proof. So where I'm going now is to dump anything and all things WordPress and move into. First, I thought it was going to be Django or sorry, JavaScript. I like JavaScript to a point. Once you get into the React and all that, it's pure nightmare. There's no standardization. So the backup has always been Django, which is Python and a web framework. I also know a little bit about Flask. That's more of a API thing, and then there's Fast API as well. But for Django, just a general website, I like a lot compared to JavaScript. So where things are going right now, um, it's uh, challenging because you're moving into something new, learning Django, and I want to have more control and ownership and be accountable on my own website because I have the source code now. So there's gonna be three. Originally, there's gonna be three pieces: a forum, a learning management system, which is what I'm going to go with, and a static website brochure kind of thing. Now it's a blog, but a raw, primitive WordPress blog. Um, so the learning management system is going to be really good. It's going to be like a school, full on school, like an academy. You join, you get courses and da da da. It's free. I'll probably go with one free course as bait. Um, and that will be that. That's pretty good. The other thing, as I said, the big struggle is trying to find, as I said, I wanted to originally start a forum. So I looked at all kinds of different forum projects. Here's the problem I have with a lot of these projects that are put up on GitHub and wherever else. A lot of them are just like I've been coding for 40 plus years. Yeah, I'm old, okay? Forget it. Anyways, there's always been standards in terms of documentation, commenting. Now it's all thrown out the door. The commenting and the GitHub learning, a lot of it is subpar because they assume you know Django, but there's going to be people like me coming in with zero knowledge of Django. We pick it up, yes, but my view is you should always like writing documents for people that don't understand with zero knowledge on the tech. So you got to go play by play to get the thing up and running. Many people don't do that because they assume. The other problem I find, especially with Django and just any technology, is it gets dated, and the project can get become very obsolete or abandoned, especially on GitHub. But you don't know if you're on with Django, what works, what doesn't. So you're going to spend a ton of time trying to find things that work, getting it to work, and that's one step. The other thing is when you want to merge one project with another is another challenge. I could spend 6 hours trying to get something to merge with something else, and it doesn't work out. It's because it's badly documented or it's incompatible. I don't know, but a lot of times I throw away stuff. It doesn't work. So life would be easier if people did that, but here we are. And then there's this huge don't comment. I just find that just beyond. It's just suicidal to me. That thinking. Um, and whatever. but you get through it. So, anyways, with the site, the forum and the chat I was looking for is just not going to work. I asked people as well, would you use a forum? And a lot of them said no. They go online, yes. Forums and chat generally are dead. Why? Because you have something like Discord that's taken over everything. That's where people are. Well, so I joined. I'm already on Discord, so I leveraged that current Discord I have. That's third party. So the good thing about Discord is I can send messages to Discord from my Python, which is good. So I can do that. Now the thing is with uh, this blog, as I said, it's going to be very primitive. And from a technical standpoint, it says I've already talked about WordPress. That's just dead in the world. A couple things from search engine and just general call it marketing. Everything's radically changing in the world of search engine optimization. Why? Because it's going to AI. The difference between where YouTube was and where it's at now with the AI, search engine optimization is just generally radically different. But you can still have that as your number one source of traffic. The world of social media, especially my kind of stuff, um, doesn't really work anymore on social media. We're talking Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, yes, and TikTok. So I have 13,000 people on my Facebook group, 6,000 on LinkedIn. I'd be lucky to get one person to click something out of that. That's how dismal it is. Um, and when people see my stuff, they like it. I mean, I'm doing really pretty good on trading views, so I know that's for investing. That's the place to be. And all these other ones are just no good. But I do know YouTube still can bring in a little bit of traffic, as same with the standard search engine optimization. I also know that that could change with the Chat GPT. Who knows where that goes with the AI and how people use it? I don't know, but you adjust. So my point here is you throw away all the social media stuff because if you have something that's valuable and people like, all the traditional social media links and all that will pop up. If you have a growing site that people like it, they'll share it on social media. That's the whole point originally of social media, right? So all the trash you see on social media, it's just that's it. Um, and I don't use it at all anymore. I'll tell you, my mental health can radically improve because of it. But anyways, I don't use it. I don't engage with it anymore. It's just it's a time waste. It's a time suck. Yes. Anyways, so where I'm putting the focus on to generate traffic is standard search engine optimization and YouTube. That's it. So what will happen because of that? That's where I put the focus on to make the new site, the new blog, search engine friendly. And I'm doing the same thing with this LMS as well. And the thing is, it probably could get better results not being on WordPress. So if I can grow through both YouTube and SEO, it's all for the better. I've had the good and the bad, and I've seen the good. The good's very good when you get it rolling, really good. Um, and like I said, it's descended in the last 5, 6 years the way I used to do it because I'm still stuck in the old mode. So with the new one, the new site, it'll be much better. But what I'm warning people on, this is not going to be a pretty site. It's going to be a basic, boring looking site. I'm not even sure if I'm going to put any styling on it because the more images you put on, now you got to worry about deliverability to so the guy. If I'm in Canada, Toronto, I have to worry about delivery to the guy in Australia or Hong Kong or Japan or whatever. Um, you know how you get around that? Don't put images on the website. Don't put JavaScript on the website. The snippets. Just put the links on. That's it. Just pure text. So that's what's going to happen now with it, and that's for SEO optimization purposes. And people complain, oh, it's not pretty. I'm not building the site for you if you want pretty. Go to Facebook and go to Instagram for pretty. Okay. But if you want knowledge, you want community, you want know how to invest and auto trade and all that, that's what I deliver, regardless of how this thing looks. Because this blog is generally, its purpose is to bring people in via search engine optimization. And then from there, they grow via either the learning management system or the Discord. So that's where they go if they want to be serious with these topics. And yeah, so the site's going to look boring. Like I care, I don't really, whatever. That's the warning I'm putting out. When will this launch? It's hard to say. I was hoping to have a group that would use the chat or the forum. That's what I put out a week or so ago. Doesn't look like I'm going to have that. So I don't really need that to be tested. It's good to have people test the learning management system. I do the courses and stuff, but I'm going to do that for free anyway. So that's why I'm going to put the LMS on an old domain and then roll it into the primary quantlabs.net in a couple of months. So that's the goal. Anyways, so that's where I'm at with things. Now let's talk about Django. I would say Django. Django. Um, Django is an interesting uh, framework. I like it because you have the guts of framework there. You just call it, including authorization, security, some basic SEO, as I said, or basic things that you would want in a typical web front. So I like that. Here's the problem is that like anything else, where back in the day they used to have something called no code break policy, especially in Java. Things break now because, Django, whoever's running, same with JavaScript, they just have whatever, and your code is, I don't know, 3 years old, let's say. And then a new version of whatever you're using updates something, and then they deprecate that feature, and now no longer your code works. So this is now a problem because of all this. No, 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 no. We don't care about the no code break policy. It's again, it's suicidal. But that's the problem. Anyways, besides that, as I was getting into Django, they brought out 5.0, so I thought, screw it, I'll move over. That might be with some of the problems I'm having, some of the bugs I'm seeing that people haven't adapted to it. But I just focus on the ones that work, the code that works. If you're coding anything, if you want to be effective at it, you want to have as few dependencies as possible, including trading systems, high-speed trading systems. You don't want to have dependencies in that code for a lot of reasons, bloat, deprecation, all that. So right now, um, what I'm uh, wanting to get is this blog up, and Django is pretty good for it. Down the road, I may add in some, like I've got a dashboard framework built in JavaScript, so I can integrate that with whatever into Python, and I can do that. And I may do that as a project and pay it up. So I don't know. That's not a priority right now. And yeah, but Django is better than JavaScript. The problem with JavaScript, as I said earlier, you know, I think they're just script kitties, right? Or, and they just don't understand computer science. These kids that learn from the MOOCs, the uh, the data, the online free courses like the Udemy's, the Coursera's, all that. Just because you take that course does not make you a programmer, because a lot of the code that I've seen is just utter trash. Okay, it's badly coded, badly documented, and if I was to integrate something with something else, it just blows up. So it's hard to find projects that work, and when they do, man, that's a good programmer. And they're out there, but it's like maybe 10%. So you're not a programmer. This is what blows my mind. I'm gonna rant here. I'll probably rant half the time. Anyways, the big rant here is that there's this big movement saying kids could go to school, like university and all that. I'm telling you right now, majority of jobs that I see do want you to have a degree, namely even a master's or computer science. That just is how they are able to cut out a lot of the questionable so-called programmers out there. So what's happening is, and now it's seniorities as we go into, um, people are just sending out resumes wherever. Companies are getting overloaded with 1,000 resumes, probably for a job, for a computer contract. So what they do is they'll say, well, we need people of 5, 7, 10 years experience. And it cuts out a lot of those juniors, but they're probably still going to send out their resume anyways. Doesn't matter. AI will take care of that, the screening. So my point is, if you want to kind of get better at coding, educated or not, you got to understand the concepts of application design from a higher architecture standpoint, and really understand the principles when it comes to documenting. I'm very outdated in a lot of ways too. But I will tell you, when I started hearing about object oriented programming, guess what? People now don't want to do object oriented programming anymore. So that just tells you what you learned can be thrown out in 5, 10, 20 years. And then that code's useless. So whatever is out there right now and however they do the computer stuff, the computer science stuff, will be abandoned. Because in my time, when all we had, as an example, C, C++, it was just a compiler. There were no IDEs. There was very good documentation when Microsoft was a real cool company and going up against Big Blue, IBM. So you're able to learn that. It was a lot easier. And there was a huge focus on documenting and getting stuff done. The code was fairly clean, very clean, and very, very efficient at doing the job, especially when you're dealing with like tiny microprocessors versus the big, massive GPUs today. Um, so I personally prefer the primitive way of doing things instead of like all this other nonsense stuff. It's like the WordPress and all the plugins and all that, and it just becomes this bloated beats that nobody wants to touch. I don't use um there's reasons why people don't want to use JavaScript. All the script kiddies love it because they can make a career out of it. But doesn't necessarily mean they're great programmers. A lot of the code out there I've seen are absolute hornet's nest, and I just will not touch. I will not go in and rescue it. No, I I'm at an age where I get heart attacks from it actually, so I won't do that. But right now, um, where it's at for me is to focus on uh, what I'm focusing on, moving into that, actually using it. The big thing in development today, the top three big languages, because everything's through a browser now: JavaScript, uh, Python because of Django, and data science, really, and somewhat the cloud. Um, and the JavaScript has its own ecosystem. It's crazy where you get good stuff like Node or vanilla JavaScript versus like just badly with the good intent, but just the bad evolution of React, which is the most popular. So there's all that. Those are the most popular. So that's where it's going, like Java, C Sharp, C++. Not saying they're dead. I don't think they'll die, but there's not a lot of new projects coming out of those languages. If you want to be thriving in IT, especially coding, you got to be in Python and Django and JavaScript. Everything else seems to be kind of like waning away. Not yet. You can still have a good career. There's lots of other up and coming stuff like Rust, but everything's being driven online. Obviously, not native apps anymore. Not PDAs. Uh, it is driven online or mobile via the browser, and that's where JavaScript dominates. All right, so I've done another rant of 20 minutes. I'm going to shut up now. If you like what you're hearing and I'm doing more auto trading stuff. You want to learn more about that? Just yeah, I have a tech book on all kinds of stuff for both traders and coders. You can do okay in it if you know where to profit from. Anyways, I'm closing out as the background gets darker. Pretty effective, and there's no filters here to do that. And I'll talk to you later. Have a good New Year, and welcome to 2024. Over.